Hey everybody, my 19-month-old, almost 2, is approaching the terrible 2s, as they would say. She has started stomping her little foot, chucking her passy across the room, and shrieking when she doesn't get her way. And that leads into the crying and the meltdowns. Well, I wanted to let you know that we have discovered a very workable solution to take these tantrums away. And now, actually, with our phrase words that we're going to talk about today, for the most part, her tantrums don't last very long, and we're able to just nip it quickly. One of my very best friends has a little girl who is just about exactly the same age as my younger daughter. They're both 19 months, and she and I are both on this, we're both employing this same thing, and it's working really well. So I asked her if she would share a really cute little story that she told me a month or so ago about what she's been doing with her daughter.
So we started the fun versus no fun thing when my daughter was about 18 months old. And what that looks like for us is whenever she was throwing a tantrum or giving me a hassle, I would say to her, "Ooh, no, that is no fun for mama." And if the behavior continued, I would pick her up and go place her in her crib. And I would explain to her, "You're in here because that's not fun for mommy." And I would walk out and I'd give it just a short amount of time, 30 seconds or a minute or so. And then I'd come back in and I would say, "So are you ready to be fun?" And I would nod my head and smile, probably looked kind of crazy. Or are you going to be no fun? And I would frown. And it really just took a short period of time. It's a month later. She's 19 months old now. And I'm not going to say that she is, tantrum free, but for the most part now, if she starts to act up or give me a hassle, all I have to do is look at her and just say, "Are you being no fun right now?" And she'll kind of perk up and she'll say, "No, fun. And she'll do that crazy little smile and nod her head. And for the most part, that's all that I need to do now in order to kind of snap her out of that behavior and get her back on track.
I thought that was a really sweet little story, and also a great testament to how well this works if you are willing to stick with it. Let me elaborate just a little bit more about this. This is not a trick that I came up with. That's my disclaimer. This is something that Danny Silk, and for those of you who have watched my earlier videos, he's someone that I think pretty highly of. He's pretty great with relationships and kids and all kinds of stuff. If you haven't heard of him, just do yourself a favor and Google him. Anyway, when he came and spoke with my mom's group, this is one of the things that was talked about. Like, okay, it's all fine and good to teach your 5-year-old who understands these types of things. If you're like, "Hey, you're not being very cool, go to your room," then they, usually will get up and go to their room, or at least, you can have a conversation with them. But what do you do when you have a little kid, like a baby, a little toddler? So the suggestion was about around 16, 17, 18 months, right around in there, when you know that they actually understand you, or at least understand enough to where you can say simple words to them, that's a good time to start. And so what it looks like is, as I described in the beginning of the video, my sweet child, it'll go something a little like this. I'll be in the kitchen making dinner. She wants my attention, and I try to redirect. She has her passy in her mouth because it's about that time of the afternoonish evening that she's starting to slowly melt down. So she'll have her passy in her mouth. She'll come to me and she'll want something, or she'll be getting into something, and I'll try to redirect. And she will take her passy out of her mouth and she'll chuck it across the room, and she'll stomp her little foot and she'll shriek. And then it just kind of goes from there to like this melting down and crying, or she'll tug on me, or, and then I try to redirect her and she'll cry, or she'll sit on the floor, or, she'll almost pull my pants off or something like that. And it's like, okay, we're not doing this anymore. So what that looks like to employ this little technique that I want to share is I sit down, I get down on her level, and I say, "You are not being fun. Mommy does not like that." And, because at that point she's like, "Whatever, I'm angry. You won't hold me while you're cooking the hot thing on the stove. Rude." So she's flapping about, and I say, "You are not being fun. I am going to put you in your crib. You need to stop." Blah! Okay, well, we go in the room, turn the light on, put her in the crib, walk out the door, shut the door. Because she's not hurt, she's not sick, She isn't doing anything where she needs to be comforted. She's having a tantrum because she's not getting her way, and I'm not gonna coddle that. Sorry, don't like it, not gonna deal with it. So she goes into her room, we shut the door, and this is where I usually, well, our house isn't too large, so I don't have to go very far away, but I listen, and she's in there, and she's screaming. She's got a good scream going, and I wait for the moment when she stops, and right when she stops crying, I'll go back in, and I'll say, are you ready to be fun? Are you fun? And smiley face, are you fun? Happy? And she, you know, the first few times, you're in here now, I'm gonna scream again, and then you walk back out. And then we do this. So it does take a little bit of patience at the beginning. It's not gonna probably go great the first time, but if you are consistent with this, that when kiddo is having a hissy fit or a meltdown and you put them in the crib and you walk out, and okay, you can be angry and sad and scream and cry, but I'm not gonna listen to it, because that's where I get to choose what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna sit here and listen to you cry and scream and have a hissy fit, and you're not gonna do it in the living room and disturb me. So that's kind of the whole point behind it. So eventually what's gonna happen, and it probably took 3 or 4 times, maybe 5 times. We're going on a few months of doing it now, and she's got it pretty good. I mean, I still do take her to her room sometimes, because every once in a while, you know, she just wants that can opener, and I'm not gonna let her have it. You know, or something like she wants to yank everything off the table and I won't let her, and so she still does have those meltdowns, but I pick her up and I say, you're not being very fun, and take her to her room and leave her in there till she calms down. But now what's happening more often than the hissy fit is I go to her and I get down on her level, and where she can see my eyes, and I say, you are not being fun. Do you need to go to your crib? And she, okay, so she gets it. Then the other day I went into her room after she was screaming and yelling and she had calmed down, and I went in and I said, are you happy? Are you gonna be fun? And she goes, happy. She didn't look happy, her tears, but she, happy. So she got it. And I was so excited, because it's like, okay, I can regulate myself, mommy. I can stop crying, and I'm ready to come out of my room now. And now it's just as simple as me saying, do you need to go to your room, or do you need to go be in your crib? And she stops. One thing I do want to mention really briefly is the emotional aspect of this. And when Danny Silk was with our group, actually there was a mom who asked this question, and I think it's a good one. Is this damaging for my child's emotional health, that I'm, you know, taking them in the height of this screaming, crying, and letting them just kind of basically cry it out until they calm down? The short answer is no. They're not sick and they're not hurt. You know, they didn't fall down and scuff their knee and then you take them in there because they won't stop crying. That's not what you're doing. What you're doing is picking them up in the middle of a rebellious tantrum. And that's one of those things that they have to learn how to manage themselves, and it can start at an early age, but there are going to be things that happen to them that they might not like, or things that are outside of their control or whatever, and they have to learn how to manage those emotions. They can't, you know, nobody wants to see a 5-year-old having a hissy fit in the grocery store, or a 10-year-old, or even scarier when you get into the teen years, because it looks a lot different than crying and flapping around on the floor when you've got a teenager who hasn't learned how to manage their emotions. So more or less, I'm not really super concerned about it, because I'm doing it at the right time, not when she's hurt or sick, or, you know, her sister just bashed her head or something like that. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for watching today, guys. If you liked the video, I would love it if you would click like. And also, if you know someone, or someone in your life has an amazing toddler who's starting to display tantrum symptoms, if you'd be willing to share it, if you think that it would be helpful for someone, that would be awesome. And I would also like to invite you to be a subscriber. If you're a subscriber, you get an email notification when we put videos out. We do a new video each week, and we would love to have you join with us on our journey of being parents to amazing children. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll hopefully see you next week. Bye.